morning. Hey, Renee. Oh. When did this get cleared out? Oh, that's right. We did it yesterday. I forgot. Morning. Time for some coffee. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Everybody doing well? Or as well as you can be? Hey, Mina. Tis going, yeah. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, same, Amanda. That I was saying that to someone this morning. I reached that stage last night, in maybe a kind of mean way that's not normal for me. I'm not usually a mean-spirited person, but I did have some pretty mean thoughts last night, which I'm not proud of. Well, yeah, I mean, Amanda, that's not a new one. That is not a new thought. Yesterday evening, my thoughts turned to basically, well, I hope they all get exactly what they voted for. I hope that you are in need of life-saving medical care and unfortunately unable to reach it. And I hope that you find yourself with a loved one who... No, Becca, because we live in states where it's not going to happen. I was thinking specifically about women who did this. There are women on this app right now who are willingly seeing forward ridiculous ectopic pregnancies that will kill them because of a misguided belief. And I say to them, fine. You won't vote next time, I guess, because you won't be here to do so. Because if your pregnancy is attached to your C-section scar, it ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening. I'm not trying to be mean. I want you to have your baby, but it's not happening. So go for it. Go for it. See it through. It's what you want. Go for it. Morning, Naisa. That's the stage I'm at. I'm at the stage that is... Go for it. Oh, really, Becca? Do we want to know who? You know what I've been doing? I have been going through... Anytime I see a viral dem video, I look at the comments and I just preemptively block people. You can tell. It's super easy. Yeah, super easy. I also went to, specific pages, which names I will not mention here, on all the platforms and saw if I had any mutuals with them. And if I did, blocked. Easy, done. Roxy, you should be fine in New Jersey. I wouldn't worry in New Jersey right now. New Jersey is a pretty solid place for the moment. I'm not sure next year, but for right now, you should be fine in New Jersey. I thought you were... Oh, you should be fine there too. Minnesota should be fine. For the moment, anyway. I would just get it done sooner rather than later. I would do it now, like this year. Yeah, Becca, I don't blame you. I would get them done sooner rather than later, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I thought so, Amanda. I assumed as much, but for now anyway, for now. That's true. The how am I gonna go no thing, Gigi. A lot of people are talking about bracelets. If you're talking about like out in the real world, but if you're not talking about out in the real world, yeah, I would just go on their I would just go on the page and see who they follow. Who someone follows tells you a lot about them. I unfollowed and blocked a lot of people yesterday that I was just like, damn, okay, here we go. And which comments people like in their comment section. Yeah, Gigi, do that. See, you know, you can tell a lot, like, if you guys go through, well, I accidentally blocked Becca yesterday and immediately unblocked her. It was a total flub on my part. She and I were trying to block the same person at the same time, and then I touched her name by accident. But, yeah, it is good, Gigi. Like, you can look, like, if you ever look at the comments in my comment section and you see which ones I've liked, it tells you a lot about me. You know what I mean? What comments I like says about everything you need to know. Oh, really, Ray? I didn't know that. In what regard? Why is that? I haven't seen any. What are you, what is the discourse involving that? I've not seen any, so I'm unfamiliar with it. Yeah, that exactly. They're saying be the safe person by action, not signaling. Well, sure, of course, but like if you're passing someone at the grocery store, what kind of action could you possibly have? You know what I mean? I had to unfollow block one, but I'd block a few people. Yeah. Preemptively blocking, Aisa. I understand the point of view that you should lead with action, not signaling, but I do agree that if you're just like walking by someone, what action could they possibly be taking in that moment? In the pickup line at school, at the grocery store, in your neighborhood, if you're like trying to make parent friends for your kids. That's the situations that I've mostly seen it talked about. Becca, people are talking about wearing blue bracelets to signal that which way they went, so that when you're trying to, you know, set up a play date or whatever, you don't have to ask certain questions to make sure that your kids are getting in with the correct families and things like that. And I kind of agree, having a signal can be helpful in those regards, because you don't want to accidentally tip off the wrong person and piss somebody off. I mean, that's totally fair, Becca, but I think, yeah, I get it both ways. They're just saying that some have varying... Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying, Ray. I think you need to do both, right? Like, I don't think you can lead only with action in situations like this, you know. It's one of those things that there's a time and a place for action, and a lot of people are scared right now. No, I don't mean anyone that you would leave your kids with, Becca. That's not what I mean at all. I wouldn't leave my kids with anyone either. But think about who you're setting play dates up with. Tressa just had this issue, remember? That Tressa only just found out the kid that mows her lawn's parents went that way. She didn't know that before, you know what I mean? So, like, this is one of those things where people are trying, like, she didn't know. How could you know? You know? Yes, she's right here. So I do actually support people in having a way to signal. Can someone please take away my kids? I need a break. I'm actually going next week down to take away my sister's children from her.
in the sweetest way, of course. She and her husband have an event Friday night, so I'm going to take care of them. Like you do. The other thing that I have seen, hey Sybil, how are you, darling? And I mentioned this on Patreon, and I've mentioned it to all of my friends who may need to hear it individually, but if anyone previously was being referred to as they, them, and next year does not feel comfortable doing that, or in the wake of things doesn't feel comfortable doing that publicly on lives, I will adjust to whatever you want. Well, that's what we need to talk about, Renee. I do want to, but we have to decide soon, because we got to buy those tickets. Yeah, we got to buy those tickets. Yeah, text me and we'll figure it out. Phone call interrupted, so I didn't hear what you were saying to me. Gigi, I was just giving more tips on like ways to find the people online. Like, go to the comment section and see who's liked what comments, because like I was just saying, an example in my case, if you go to my comment section, you can see which comments I've liked, and that will tell you a lot about me. So if a creator you know isn't saying which way they leaned and you want to know, you can look at whose comments they're liking, and that'll tell you a lot about them, you know? But it's becoming pretty clear, I think. Most people are outing themselves. That's the thing. People out themselves, you know? We don't have to really do it for them. They just do it. It is what it is. I know I do. I out myself daily. So that's and happy to do so, you know, and all that jazz. Yes. Yeah, I think everybody is, Roxy. They're still proud of it. Yeah. Well, you know, some people, and secret husband, yes, same Rosie. I had the same outcome, actually. I had 4. Some people are unable to produce empathy outside of themselves. Yeah, Roxy, a lot of people have been doing that. Secret husband and I were talking about this last night, and how many people are dealing with that right now. There are a number of people who are literally incapable of understanding a concept before it directly affects them. And that is a shame that is the world. Like, I have spoken to a person, I won't say who, that is incorrect. And what I said was, what if it, no, not secret husband, he would never. He was flabbergasted to hear a lot of the people and the stuff. What I said to this other person, not secret husband, is, what if it was your wife who needed that care? And he said, I don't care, because they've never dealt with it. They have children and they've all been safe pregnancies. So they can't understand the possibility that might happen yet, right? And it's, oh, same, Sybil, same, big time. It's shocking. I said, you have 3 daughters. What if it's your daughter who goes to high school? You know what I mean? Like, what if it's your daughter who's in high school? Oh, that would never happen. Really? You don't know that. You don't know. So prepare just it. Same, Gigi. I mean, listen, you don't even know, you guys. I was in person with this person. This was not an online conversation. This was a face-to-face conversation. And this wasn't during the election. This was last year. I was having this conversation before it was as heated as it is now, because I was trying, right? In the last month, I haven't been trying. You can't talk to those people at this point, right? But last year, I was trying, right? I was still like trying to make strides with people and do the thing, right? And someone who had to make a decision at 6 months and wanted about 100%, Rosie. That's what I said to them. I was like, do you think I ever want to have an abortion? The answer to that is a hot effing no. It's a hot effing no. That is not something I would wish on anyone. However, I do wish on everyone the opportunity, if they need it, and when I say need it, I mean for any reason, even if their reason is don't want it, even if their reason is don't have the funds, even if their reason is too young, even if their reason is didn't mean to do that, I want them to have the opportunity. And this person could not understand that there might be a chance in the future that one of his daughters could end up in that situation. Like, he couldn't see past the end of his nose in this conversation. They don't prepare their children, and they're the ones who end up pregnant. Facts, Jen. You're 100% right. So 100% validates why you cut off ties with people. So no one wants it. Of course not. The idea, I mean, statistically, more than statistically, Becca, I mean, like, the statistics are not on his side, and yet he can't see past it. You know, I know someone who yesterday gloated despite having a gay daughter who lives in a red state and may lose her marriage. That's a weird choice to me. It's a weird choice to me. Your daughter's now in danger in a lot of ways. Being in an openly gay marriage in a red state, you just put your kid in a lot of hot water, you know? Yeah, no, I agree, Roxy. I agree. It's wild. So anyway, the moral of the story is, I don't blame you, Avery. I don't blame you. Hey, Tana. So anyway, that's the stage I've reached, and people go out and say things like, yeah, listen, here's the sitch. I am taking the stance, disrespectfully, they can go. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, everyone who's being like, oh, well, we can have different, no, you know what we can have a difference of opinion about? You know what I'm happy to have a difference of opinion about with you guys? Mushrooms. Who likes mushrooms here? I hate mushrooms. Everything about the vegetable of a mushroom makes me want to hurl. I hate them. But guess what? Most of my best friends love mushrooms, and that's a-okay. I support them. I would make them food with it in it. I love my friends who like mushrooms. That's fine. I agree. I think they're nasty and vile, but that's okay. And if you hate olives, Sophie, please, I love olives. See, we're allowed to have this difference. So a difference of opinion is totally fine. A difference of morality ain't gonna cut it for me. Listen, I love olives. I could eat an entire can of olives in one sitting. Yeah, no, exactly. But that's exactly what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, I will not stand for your sister not having her right to get married. She can like mushrooms. I don't give an F about that. You know, hate the types of people because it's literally human rights. Right. Anyone I know who says, oh, why can't we be friends with a difference of opinion? I'm like, it's not a difference of opinion. It's someone's life. That's not an opinion for me. Yeah, anything that's a human right, I can't deal with it. The rest of it, like, actually, I don't even care about the differences. I'm like, I think they're dumb for their stance on taxes and all that stuff. I do think that's dumb, but I actually would still be friends with someone who had those opinions. You know what I mean? Like, that part, I'm like, all right, I think you're an idiot, but meh, whatever. Like, I would be willing, if someone didn't vote for him but didn't like the Democratic stance on taxes, I'd be like, okay, as long as you don't vote for him, I don't give an F. You know, like, have your opinion on taxes, have your opinion on all that stuff. Do I think you're dumb? Sure, but I'll be your friend. But human rights? No. Book question, can I DM you on Patreon if that's better? Sure, yeah, what's your book question? You can ask right now, it's book club. Yeah. Why am I doing this? Why did I touch my face like that? What is wrong with me? I have so many problems. Okay, so... Coffee. Do you still have many books for sale? I only have one book, Tana. I've only ever had just one book so far. I've only finished one book. But it is for sale on all platforms. My website, Amazon, here. It's even linked in this live, I think. You love my mug. Do you know the story of this mug, Sybil? Some people who are on here might not know the story. A lot of my regular book clubbers who come all of the time know this story. This was a wedding favor at my brother's wedding last year. And what they did, this was the cutest thing. And the reason I always tell the story is because I feel like if anyone's having a wedding or a party and they're looking for a great, like, upcycled favor, what my sister-in-law did was she went to multiple different thrift stores and found cool mugs like this and set them all out with teas and hot cocoa little things in them, and you got to pick your own cup for the night, so all your drinks were in the cup for the night, so that they didn't have to use like plastic cups for people who were getting coffee at the end of the night or tea or whatever like that. You had your own mug and you got to pick whatever one spoke to you. First of all, it was cheaper for them. Second of all, I literally use it every week. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing, Tana. Yeah, you can definitely do that. But also, let me just address what Tana's saying really quickly for everyone. If anybody is looking to use my book for a book club that they're in outside of here, I actually have done this for Jen and a couple other people. If your book club agrees to use my book for your book club and they want to get a bunch of copies of it, I will throw in bookmarks and postcards into a package for you to give to them as a part of the, like, thanks for using my book. So let me know. I'd be happy to do that. I love supporting book clubs. I think everybody knows that. But yes, it was a fantastic, and Jen's group loved them apparently. It was a fantastic party favor because usually wedding favors are so useless, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, I don't even know, like the things that they give out at weddings, you're like, why? I don't need this. This cup, I use this cup every week. It's great. And you got to pick your own. So it was like, it was fun. Anyway, that's my story about the cup. And I think that everybody should do cool stuff like that. Plus it was upcycled, so it wasn't creating more trash in the world. So good. I was really proud of them for like coming up with cool things like that. My sister-in-law is pretty cool. All right, so she's very smart. It's a great idea. I didn't think of it either, Rosemary. I mean, like, how could any, until I saw them do it, I would never have even thought of it, but like, what a great idea, right? Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right, so we're reading chapter 3 today. Chapter 3 of Hex in the City. If anyone needs to catch up on the previous chapters, they are up on YouTube. Oh, Roxy, I don't know if you saw my comment back on that. It's not that I don't appreciate the offer to get a new cup, but I am on a cup ban. That's hilarious, Amanda. I'm on a cup ban, both tumblers and cups, because we are 100% at capacity in the shelf where we keep mugs, and especially with a baby coming, we don't have any space. Is this the first of the Hex series? This is the second of the Hex series. We actually had to buy an additional cupboard for the baby's bottles and like her other stuff. Is that hilarious? Because like that's how little cupboard space there is in our apartment. We bought like a little side cupboard that we have on the floor off to the side, which is sad. Yes, you all, Becca and Amanda are in a lifelong fight. All right, bye. See you later, Rosie. About white glue versus clear glue. So, you know, pick your side. It's like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys level serious, you know? Yeah. All right, chapter 3. Here we go. Do you want to get out of here? Alex watched the ambulance carrying Yelena depart and then didn't turn immediately. The police had cordoned off most of the street, although it hadn't stopped most people from cramming up against the windows of bars and restaurants to see if the theater was going to explode or just burn to the ground. Alex didn't think that this was massively likely, since the deluge system, basically the sprinkler system on steroids, had doused the fire immediately. Unfortunately, it had also flooded the stage and half the stalls, and a quick peek around the front of the theater had revealed that many were drenched and angry theatergoers. Oh, a tink bug. I love that. Theatergoers whose phones did not seem affected by the water as they snapped pictures and jabbed vindictively at their screens. At least one girl was filming herself and gesturing behind her at the chaos. Yeah, Avery, no problem. So the recap is the main character, Poppy, accidentally sold a cursed necklace to this performer guy, and he gave it to one of the performers in his show, and then they went to go try to get it back, and everything has gone wrong. So now the sprinkler system has gone off, there was a fire and all this crazy stuff, and now they're taking Yelena to the to the hospital. I sound like a news reporter. A lot of people say that about people who grow up in the area where I grew up. It's because we're taught to speak with what's called TV accent, and it's so that we could be understandable in all markets. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Avery. Percy Beaker, what a creep. He took a few deep breaths to calm the bile rising in his throat. That was a long time ago, though, when he had been a different person. No, like literally. This time, it wouldn't be like that. No, it couldn't be like that. Oh, and the police wanted a word too. But they didn't scare Alex half as much as the general public did, or most dreadful of all, how much insurance investigators scared him. He knew all the safety checks had been done on the stage equipment. It was just sheer stupidity not to do that. But the possibility that Yelena's fall had somehow been his fault ate him up like acid. Do you want to get out of here? He thought to himself. And Alex shaded his eyes from the flashing lights of the departing ambulance and looked down at the speaker. It was the girl who had run forward from the audience, the only person in the theater who realized that Yelena's fall wasn't a part of the show. Her hair blanketed her shoulders like a cloak. He remembered that about her. Rapunzel, he said. Man bun, she replied, one eyebrow arched. Look, there's a lot of people around the corner who aren't terribly happy with you right now, and I hate to tell you this, but you're hella noticeable in that getup right there, but I can get us out of here if you like. I'm the hella noticeable one, Alex thought and wanted to say. She had hair to her waist, streaked with various colors and strewn with flowers and twigs. What might even be a living butterfly or two was in there, and he watched as a few tendrils of hair appeared to shake themselves, and she gave a sort of twitch, like someone signaling to a naughty child to cut it out. We barely just started reading, Kimberly, so yeah, we're always on at 8:30 in the morning, but we're only like 2 pages into this chapter so far. He must have imagined that. It must have been shock or something. Maybe he could go over and ask the medics to check his head. I have just a shop around the corner, down there, she said, jerking her thumb behind him. You came in earlier today, remember? Crystals and all that stuff? Cauldrons, he said dumbly. Her eyes were very big and appealing, and in the flashing lights from the police vehicles, they looked like 2 different colors. Yes, stacks of them. Broomsticks, he said. They were in her hair. Horseshoes. Yep, all that and more, plus a bottle of vodka stashed in my locker. She glanced past him. Is that guy your manager? Because he looks really angry. Alex winced and didn't turn. Ugh, yes. Bleach blonde, glasses, pink shoes, yeah. How far's the shop from here? She smiled. Well, it's about 3 minutes. A bit more if we avoid the crowds. Crowd avoidance. Yes, I do like that. She nodded. All right, give me your hand. He gave it to her, and she took it, her own hand stronger and rougher than he'd expected it to be. As he followed this decidedly strange woman away from the theater, Alex was aware that he was not behaving entirely normally. He felt woozy, as if he was drunk. Maybe he'd inhaled some smoke or something. No, he'd be coughing more if he'd done that, wouldn't he? Oh, that's the Opera House, he said like a child on a car journey pointing out cows. The Royal Opera House was a completely massive colonnade and grand, and occupying a whole block of its own, and plus a bit on the adjacent street as well. Yeah, have you been? She inquired politely. No. Oh, it's really good. Iris and I went to see Tosca there last year. She said it wasn't as good as the original, but given that it premiered in 1900, I'm assuming that she exaggerated a little bit. Well, maybe. Actually, you really never know with Iris. Iris? My landlady, the one who was eating popcorn over there, casually, the stranger holding his hand added, the one who came up on stage and calmed down Yelena, she's really good at that sort of thing? Yes, Alex said, and he walked a few more paces with her past the stage door of the Opera House, and she said, all right, so listen, she was sleeping with Jose, you know, that fallen warrior guy? Who was sleeping with Jose? Iris? Well, no, I wouldn't put, oh, sorry. Let me redo that. That's very confusing. She's really good at that sort of thing. That's Poppy speaking. Yes, said Alex, and he walked a few more paces past the stage door of the Opera House and said, she was sleeping with Jose, you know, the fallen warrior guy. Who was? Iris? I really wouldn't put that past her. No, Yelena was. He told me. And as he lay there on the collapsing stage, possibly in fear of his own death, Jose had grabbed Alex's hand and confessed, she was in a filthy mood with me today, and I thought it was my fault. But it turns out she was also seeing Jose, and Well, he broke off, and his footsteps faltered. For a moment, this Rapunzel woman tugged at his hand as if he was a recalcitrant toddler. I don't know that word. Recalcitrant? Recalcitrant. I don't know this word. That doesn't happen to me in the regular world very often. Recalcitrant. I can see what it means by this context of the sentence, but I have no idea how to pronounce that. Recalcitrant? No clue. Toddler. And then she stopped and regarded him, chewing her lip. Jose was the one she dropped, she asked. Having an obstinate, uncooperative. Yeah, uncooperative. That makes sense. Into the rune stone. Yes, I think his collarbone was recalcitrant. Okay, cool. Into the ruined stone. Yes, I do think his collarbone was broken. Alex felt like he was explaining the plot of a disaster movie, not something that had happened right in front of him and 2,000 paying customers, not even half an hour ago. Yep, nasty business, that. She looked like she was going to say something else, and then she changed her mind. All right, come on. We're nearly there, and the vodka waits. She led him to Covered Market at the center of Covent Gardens and unlocked the back door of a shop. You see? A magic emporium. Go, sit down, and I'll bring you a drink. Dazed, Alex did as he was told, wandering into the shop that he'd visited just that afternoon, when it had been bright and busy and alive, and now it was just half lit and shuttered, and everything in it looked strange. Stacks of cauldrons, stands of broomsticks. Was this a silly crystal shop or something a little bit more sinister? He suddenly jumped as an apparition appeared in the window, wild hair, wide-eyed face smeared with dirt and ash, wrapped only in a red toga. He had summoned the ghost of some ancient Roman? You can probably put the blanket down now, said Rapunzel, emerging from the back room with 2 mugs in her hands. I'll try not to swoon at the sight of your manly chest. What? Alex blinked at her and then looked back at the apparition in the window, which was, of course, a mirror, not a window. Oh, God, he said. That's pretty funny. His overstyled hair had been drenched and then shoved about by his panicked hands and now looked like he'd lost a fight with a helicopter. The carefully applied makeup had washed away in patches so that his face and neck were now streaked with gray and black blotches. His low-slung leather trousers had soaked through, and now that he realized this, the sudden discomfort was impossible to ignore. His boots squelched against the floor. He was clutching a red emergency blanket around his shoulders like a frightened child. He didn't even remember acquiring it. Yeah, I'd recommend getting those leather strides off. I'd offer you something to wear, but I don't think any of my spare clothes are gonna fit you. Alex glanced at the front of the shop, which was shuttered from public view, and then back to Rapunzel. She appeared completely dry. Come on. You go on the stage half naked. What's the rest of it gonna bother you? She said. Alex groaned. Opening night pants are no pants, he thought to himself. Her eyes widened and then she started to laugh. Did you go commando? She said. Is that it? Saints preserve us. All right, sorry, she sighed. I'm gonna owe Sylvia so much this month it won't even be worth paying me back. It won't even be worth her paying me for my time. All right, go and have a wash back there, and I'll lend you one of our robes. She gestured to a rack of sumptuously embroidered clothing. Look, you can pretend to be Gandalf or something. Go on, she said when he hesitated. The little staff toilet off of the storeroom had a sign next to the sink that said, "You don't have to be magic to work here, but it helps." That was funny. Alex washed up as best he could, stripped off the trousers that were becoming quite uncomfortable now, and gazed mournfully at his sodden, lucky socks. Oh, so much for you, he said. They'd taken Yelena and Jose to the hospital, where she at least would be going straight into surgery. There was no point in Alex following, he'd been told anyway. He wasn't the next of kin, and he could call later or tomorrow. He should have talked to Yelena, cleared the air, apologized for misleading her, even if it had been entirely unintentional, and he wanted to add that was almost entirely on her part. But that wasn't the point right now. She could have died tonight. She could have broken much more than a leg. Yeah, but you had to go and seduce her, didn't you? He thought to himself. Not content with betting half the cast, he had to add Yelena to the list. Probably the most crucial cast member, and he'd F things up with her. He had done this. He looked at himself in the mirror for the second time that night, and the person looking back at him wasn't Axel Storm. It was barely even Alex Rain. You're a fake. Stop trying to impress everyone and keep it in your damn pants, he thought to himself. Well, I would if I was wearing any, he said to his reflection and turned off the light. Rapunzel had left a robe for him outside the door. It was green velvet and lined with satin that was patterned with astrological symbols and trimmed with silver embroidery. The sleeves were long and hanging in the hooded point, the sleeves were long and hanging, and the hood was pointed. Even someone as tall as Alex wore it, and it nearly reached the floor, but it wrapped over the front and tied with a belt so that he could at least go back into the shop without causing a sexual harassment lawsuit. That's for the best. Yes, who doesn't say these things to themselves in the mirror? Rapunzel sat on a cushioned bench beside a rack of shoes that appeared to be made mostly of leaves and flowers. She was writing something in the ledger and sipping from a mug bearing the legend, "Resting Witch Face." Hey, are you feeling more human now? Here, have a drink, she said. It's just vodka right now, but you can put some Vimto in it if you like. Alex had no idea if the woman was joking or not. No, neat is fine, he said, which would have had Jono sputtering with laughter. If Axel Storm was ever seen drinking in public, he sipped a sophisticated-looking cocktail made from designer spirits, not vodka literally poured from a bottle into a mug that said Hexy and you know it. He sat down beside her and took a sip. Yeah, this indeed was cheap vodka. He could practically feel the hangover already. When was the last time he'd even had more than a single designer cocktail? How many calories were in vodka anyway? Oh, look, the mug was somehow empty. More, he said. He could work out tomorrow and not deal with it. More, she agreed and poured him some. Her eyes, shrewd over the bottle, did appear to be different shades, one purple, one green. Maybe she was wearing contact lenses. Her hair was still that mad wild tangle, but it didn't seem to be all that wet, even though she'd been under the same deluge system that he had. And her mauve dress and lavender shawl were dry too. She must have changed while he was in the bathroom. Yes, of course, that was it. You look like a fairy, he said without really thinking, and she looked slightly taken aback. Well, I'm gonna guess you don't know many fairies then, she said, or you'd think twice before saying something like that. Oh, I mean, like, he waved his hand, Tinkerbell or something like that. Tinkerbell was a psychopath, said Rapunzel, putting the ledger to one side. All fae are psychopaths. And then she drank a bit of her vodka and said, I am a witch, though. Are you? Cool. Well, I'm a magician. Yeah. So how do you do that hand glowy thing anyway? She asked. Magic, he said. One side of her mouth turned up, and she had a little mole just above her jaw on that side. He noticed it. Magic, huh? Yeah. Not lasers, holograms, little LEDs implanted just under the skin of your palm. He held out his hand to show her. No. She took his hand and inspected his palm. Her hair fell around her face in a thick multi-shade curtain. Was he imagining that her hair glimmered just slightly? And then her fingers traced his palm, and he forgot all about her hair. The tips of her fingers were cool and slightly rough, and their touch was delicate and gentle, far too much of a turn-on for a man wearing a velvet robe, if you know what I mean. He pulled his hand back, and she glanced up, a touch of contrition in those eyes, one violet and one jade. There was no way this was natural. Sorry. But sorry, she said. Don't be. He had enjoyed it, but then he had also enjoyed things with Yelena, and Monica, and Shanae, and none of those had exactly worked out either. She nodded at a candle nearby, and the wick burst into flame. Oh, very nice. It was probably some kind of trigger that he was too tired to look for. Look, Rapunzel, what is your real name? Her eyebrow quirked. There was a piercing to one of them. How do you know my name isn't Rapunzel? Is it? She smiled. No, it's Poppy. What's your name? Alex sipped his vodka. Complicated question, he thought. Not to sound pretentious, Poppy, but you were at my show, so don't you already know who I am? And at that she laughed. No, look, I know that your stage name is Axel Storm, but if that's your real name, then yes, I am Rapunzel. All right. Alex went to flip his hair out of his eyes and grimaced at the tangled mess that it had become. "So long as you promise to keep it a secret?" he asked. She held out her hand, her little finger crooked. "Pinky promise." Ah, well, that was a little too cute. "Are you sure you're not a fairy?" he asked. "Yeah, no, I'm absolutely sure." She wrapped her little finger around his and said, "I promise not to reveal your real name." "What, is it Neville or something?" He started to laugh. No. "Derek, wait, I know. Your name is Roger." Her finger was still curled around his, and Alex looked into her mismatched eyes and said, "Alex." "Oh, only one letter different. Barely cheating at all." "Stage names aren't cheating," said Poppy, letting go of his finger. "They're marketing. They're enhancement. It's like putting on makeup. Hey, wait a second. Is your hair real?" He raised his eyebrows. "Yes, well, most of it is." He felt around for the pins and removed the Viking braids that were much easier to add than rebraid every night. "Is your hair real?" he asked. She had these little colored tendrils that curled and sort of floated as if they were not subject to gravity, and some of them appeared to glow a little bit. This couldn't possibly be real. "Oh, yeah, no, my hair is very real," she said with some feeling. "Do you want me to brush it for you? Or, like, you've got a lot of product in your hair. The tangles will set in as it dries. I don't suppose you can just ask your hair to behave, can you?" There was something weird in the way that she inflected that last part. Ask if he couldn't ask if it... As if he couldn't ask it to behave, but she could ask her hair to behave. Sorry, that was confusing. Did he want her to brush his hair? Yeah, I mean, yes, actually, he did want her to brush his hair. This weird little fairy witch woman was putting some kind of spell on him, and although he conceded it could be the vodka, either way, he moved to sit on the floor as she produced a hairbrush from out of nowhere and began teasing out the tangles in his hair. "And that woman who fell on the stage, she's your girlfriend?" Alex shuddered, not because she was finger combing his hair. "No, unless you ask her," he thought. Well, really, that's a complicated question." She said nothing. She just combed his hair for a little bit more. Her touch was gentle. Her lightness with the brush was astounding. "You were just sleeping with her." "Yes, well, I mean, that implies that it was an ongoing thing, and really it only happened once. Well," he winced a little, "one night." Rapunzel sounded like she was grinning. "Ah, did she fall for your sexual magnetism?" He groaned. "I did not put that on the posters, okay?" "Yeah, but you didn't veto it either, did you?" he thought to himself. "Did she, though? Did she fall for it?" He held out his mug. "Is there more vodka?" "Sure." She poured some into his mug like a butler pouring tea, and he drank some before he said, "Yes, let's say we fell for each other's raw sexual magnetism. What can I say? She's very bendy." I'd say that was in extremely poor taste given the bends that she had in her limbs this evening, but I'm gonna let it pass. Did you know she was seeing that other guy too? No. The image of Jose sprawled, shocked, and broken on the crushed monolith would stay with Alex for a long time. The way that he'd whispered his confession, tears rolling down his face, the way that Alex had realized it didn't hurt him in the slightest. "Do you mind?" "No, except," he groaned again, "now it'll look like I did something to both of them out of spite." Or something like that, which I didn't, by the way. He turned to her earnestly. It was very important that she knew he didn't do this. "I'd never hurt anyone. All the safety equipment is checked and double-checked. I watched it being done myself." Her hand on his shoulder was calming. "No, look, I believe you. Here, have another drink." He did. The vodka was going down smoothly now, and the way she combed his hair was strangely hypnotic. "When you came in here earlier," she said casually, "that pendant you bought? The one with the blue stone? Lapis lazuli set in silver with the eye of Odin? Yes, she was wearing it, wasn't she, during the performance?" Was she? Alex hadn't noticed. Once he was in character on stage, he more or less trusted everyone to just play their part without him having to check every detail. "But that's not part of her costume." "Yeah, well, she was wearing it when she fell, because I saw it." "You noticed that?" Elena had been broken like a rag doll, and this woman was busy noticing her accessories. "Yes, she was still wearing it when she went into the ambulance, wasn't she?" I don't know. Her fingers felt so good in his hair. It was so calming and soothing. He couldn't Do you know where they took her? Like, to which hospital? Alex leaned back against her hand, stretching like a cat. Can't remember." "Alex, Her voice was a little amused. You're not falling asleep here, are you? Me? No, just keep doing whatever it is you're doing. She wasn't even combing his hair anymore, just playing with it, sinking her fingers in deep and gently massaging it. It was magic. You like that? I do like it a lot. He turned his head to look up at her, and as she leaned forward, he got a spectacular view down her dress. I do really like it. She laughed, and it was a lovely, warm sound. It did things to the content of her bodice that made Alex lightheaded. No, Alex, resist. Stop seducing women that you barely know. You're not even listening to me, are you? He thought to himself. Why, Mr. Axel Storm, she said, are you trying to look down my dress? He exhaled hard. Yes, sorry. He made a move to back away, but her hand turned him back. Hey, look, I didn't say I didn't like it. Alex stilled himself. He carefully put down his mug of vodka, and then he twisted more fully to face her. Oh, really? What else would you like? Her hands were still in his hair, and she leaned down and stretched up so that their lips met. It wasn't the smoothest kiss since he was on the floor and she was behind him on the bench, but honestly, it didn't need to be. It just needed to be enough to know that she wanted more, and then he pulled her down onto her lap and they were kissing properly, her hair falling all around them like a magic curtain, her lips tasting of vodka and magic. Okay, so now she was sitting in Axel Storm's lap and snogging him. This wasn't exactly where Poppy thought the evening was going to go. Go to the theater, retrieve the pendant, decurse it, and come back in time for Great British Bake Off. That was the plan. All right, it was a vague plan, but it didn't really include any snogging at the time. And now here she was, in Alex's lap, more to the point, in Axel's lap, more to the point, in Alex's lap. And her tongue was maybe down his throat, and his hands were maybe up her shirt. The robe that she'd lent him gaped open, and if she thought that raw sexual magnetism on stage was something, it was nothing to up close and personal. He was just so brawny. He could probably pick her up and toss her around like a pancake. And the thought of what else he could do made her feel a little bit dizzy. She hadn't intended on any of this. He had been lost and confused, and she was just trying to take care of him. And then he put on that damn silly robe, and he ought to have looked like he was in a Halloween costume, but somehow it turned him into some sort of primal god, probably a fertility or something like that, all bare-chested, tangled hair, shadowed eyes, the sort of deity who swaggered into the mortal realm and plucked his choice of a comely maiden and feasted until sunrise. I know, that's hilarious, Becca. Well, but you know why? You know why we're not getting restricted right now? Because I put my book, hi TikTok shop, I'm selling The Prince of Oregon, on the little bill. Can you guys see the little billboard with the book, or did it not work? Either way, I put it there, and I'm telling you guys, they're major sus. All you have to do is put a product on and you don't get any marks. But the minute I take it down, I can say the most innocuous of thing, and there we go. Yeah. It's wild, right? They're super sus. It's super sus, you guys. And Poppy suddenly had been very ready to be plucked. Right now, his big, capable hands were on her backside, urging her closer, and well, goodness, that robe didn't conceal anything below the belt either, did it? Oh, I'm sorry, Sloth, I didn't know that. Those leather trousers of his certainly hadn't contained any padding. Seriously, Sybil. Seriously. Her hair had swirled around them, silken and caressing, binding him to her, and the same hair that had once wound itself around Claudia's neck and pretended it was an accident was basically stroking Alex. So my hair approves of him, Poppy thought giddily as Alex kissed her neck. I don't think that's how normal people judge relationships, but we'll let it go. Right then, her phone pinged, right where she'd left it on the bench, so she ignored it. It would just be Iris asking how she was doing, but then it pinged again. And again. Iris did tend to text like she thought in disjointed fragments. Pause. I also text in disjointed fragments the way that I think, so maybe I'm an old lady like Iris, or maybe it's okay and we don't shame Iris for her texting habits. Sorry. I apologize. That got heated. Oh my gosh. It's fine. The messages were right there on the screen, but her vision was blurry with lust, and it took her a second to focus. And then she did, and she couldn't snatch up the phone fast enough. Did you get the cursed pendant back? Don't tell him it's cursed, obviously. Civilians get really nervous when you tell them that things are cursed. She literally couldn't snatch it up fast enough. Beneath her, Alex had turned into a statue, an extremely hot statue that was sculpted with a bare chest and toss of blonde hair and an absurdly chiseled jaw. But those eyes that had been blazing hot a moment ago suddenly turned to chips of ice. Cursed pendant, he said. What? No. She just means like, this cursed pendant, this bloody thing, no one will rid me of this turbulence. Oh my gosh, this necklace kind of thing, Poppy said as she turned the screen off and put it face down, not before a fourth fatal message lit up the screen again. Sorry, you're probably seducing him right now. Well, that kind of killed the moment. Dead stone. There was no way Alex, who had bloody eagle-eyed vision, curse him for that, had missed that text message. Still, she tried. Hey, so where were we? She said hopefully, but those cold blue eyes were narrowed now. Seducing what out of me? No, listen, nothing. So Iris is old. She doesn't look. It's not what it looks like. Alex tilted his head. Isn't it? Because what it looks like from here is that you're seducing me to find out about a pendant, a cursed pendant, which my girlfriend was wearing when she plummeted to the stage. It was a harness that I personally witnessed being safety checked an hour before, which you happened to be there to see front row center. Actually, we were in row 3, Poppy whispered, because everyone knew the actual front rows had an impeded view of the stage. And then a bit louder, she said, and you told me she wasn't your girlfriend. Oh, sure, that's the important thing here. Well, given that you just had your hand inside my knickers, yeah, it kind of is the important thing, snapped Poppy, even though she knew that that really wasn't important at all. Not when the pendant had just caused a perfectly safe harness to snap and nearly kill someone. Only, okay, here she went again, getting involved with the wrong guy. Barely knew his name, and she was halfway to naked with him, and she knew that he was seeing another girl. Stupid, Poppy, stupid! Would you mind getting off of me? Alex said icily, which Poppy thought was pretty rich since he had been the one to pull her into his lap in the first place, but she was perfectly happy to scramble away from this angry stranger. Her hair had begun to twine itself around his wrists, and she yanked her hair back impatiently and got inelegantly to her feet. Alex did the same, the effect slightly tarnished by him realizing how quite exposed the robe had made him and wrapping it more firmly around himself. Please do tell me what Iris meant by cursed pendant, he said, and also me being a civilian. Poppy thought about lying. She thought about making up some rubbish about Iris being senile or the pendant being an important heirloom or a spy or something, and then her shoulders slumped and she said, okay, look, I accidentally put a spell on that pendant. I didn't mean for it to be sold. A spell, Alex said, his voice heavy with sarcasm. Yes, look, okay. Iris and I are witches. I don't usually do actual spells in the shop because, well, you never know who's going to use them and for what, and then you end up in a disaster like tonight, but this was an accident. I swear it was an accident. We came to the show tonight to try to get it back from you before it caused any trouble. His brow was drawn into a fearsome scowl. Well, offhand, Rapunzel, I would say you failed that. Well, yeah, I did, and I'm sorry. It was never my intention to hurt anyone. I just wanted my ex to get what she deserved, which was why revenge was a dumb idea, and she had never tried it before and probably shouldn't try it again, except that Lee, situation with the can of Fanta, obviously, she thought to herself. So, your ex deserved a compound fracture and a dislocated shoulder, Alex said, and he shook himself and turned away toward the back room where he'd left his sodden clothes. Look, whatever, I'm leaving. You stay away the hell away from me and my show. What show? That whole theater's waterlogged now. Alex snarled at the reminder, which Poppy supposed hadn't exactly been tactful on her part, but she was in a panic at the moment. Yes, it is, thanks to you. You will be hearing from my lawyers, he said. Oh, yeah? What are you going to tell them, that I sold you a cursed pendant? You're supposed to be the magician here, she shouted after him as he crashed around in the back room. A pretend magician, he said. I'm a bloody actor, but at least, he snapped, emerging with a bundle of his belongings, I'm not making up some shit about curses instead of telling the truth. That is the truth, Poppy yelled. Oh, sure it is, Rapunzel, sure it is. You know what, he said, glowering down at her. If you wanted to get in my pants, you could have just turned up at the stage door like every other groupie. Groupie? Poppy gasped, and her outrage made the lights flicker. I had never even heard of you until today. Alex strode to the shop's front door and rattled the shutters. I find that difficult to believe, he said. I'm an illusionist, and you run this place. He gestured and took in the spangly robes and scented candles and crystal tiaras as if they were all tawdry goods. I'm a witch. You're an actor, she snapped back. And leave that door alone unless you want to set off the alarm. You have to go out the back door. Go on, just piss off. He gave her a mocking bow, which he actually did manage to pull off in that stupid embroidered robe, and said, Gladly, you mad witch. And he swept out into the rain. And as the door banged behind him, Poppy called, And you can pay me back for the robe. He waved a hand, but didn't look back as he strode away barefoot, in what she was pleased to note was the wrong direction to get a cab. The rain turned the cobbles into an oil painting, Alex an artistic shadow against the reflected lamplight. God damn him. He even made flouncing out that way looked beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so great, Grayson. You can catch up on the other app, you know? Yeah, well, you know, and you're not even that great of a kisser, she yelled, which was a lie so bad that it made the lights in the shop flicker out completely. And there she sat in the dark, tripping over her stupid braids, causing her knee to crash into the prickles of her hairbrush. Great. Perfect ending to a perfect day. And then she went back inside, and this time she drank the vodka directly from the bottle. It is a very funny book. I have to say, Grayson's right. Everything about this book is very funny. This author has dialogue on lock. She's so funny. She's so funny. Absolutely love it. Yeah, Grayson was in book club for the most of the other one, Anya. This is, Grayson, I don't know if you know, this is the second book in the Hex Appeal series. This is the Hex in the City. Same author. Very funny lady. Very, very funny. I need to remember, oh no, don't even worry about it, Anya. I need to remember to, what? I need to remember to email her and see if she wants to come talk to book club. I do follow her here on the Tickety Talks. She does not post very much, so I'm going to try to reach out to her either on Instagram or through her website and see if she wants to chit chat with us after this book. Could be kind of fun, and we could talk to her about both books if we want. Hey Addie, how are you this morning, my dear? I'm gonna go catch up on the other chapters. It was witty and silly. It's 100% those things. Well, I figured, you know, we would go back to it today because I think we all could use the laugh, and this is definitely like not serious by any means, and so it kind of gives us a little bit of an escapism moment. Great book, and excited to have my dad visit today for the first time in a year. That's amazing. Yeah, another author interview would be great. We'd love to see it. If you want to follow her on here, you can go to my book page and you see that that I think we do, right? We'll have to ask around, but it would be nice if we could do that. Her username is like K8 Johnson, I think. Kate Johnson author. But if you go to my Sasha Quinn books page and just look at the people I follow, I don't follow that many people, and you can find her that way. That's like the easiest way to do it, because it's a funny spelling. Her username is a funny spelling. So like, I think it's the letter K, the number 8, Johnson author, I think, but don't quote me on that. But then again, she doesn't really post very much here, so it kind of doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. She's kind of like the other author where she's primarily on Instagram, so it's not really useful. Even, I mean, follow her here if you want, of course, because she's great, but to what end, I don't know. Okay, so I may be on later to make slime, but if I do, it will be in the early afternoon because I have a lactation class at 4 o'clock. So I won't be on at like our normal time because it's the first of like a series of classes that my insurance provides. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all the classes just in case. Yeah, it may be fun, it may not be fun, but I figured since the classes are free through my insurance, I should probably take all the things they offer just to be knowledgeable. Maybe I end up using the information, maybe I don't, but it's free, so like, learn, you know. I'm one of those kids that liked school, so I'm gonna do the things, and hopefully it provides me with some interesting information. Yeah. Make the hamburger. Do I even want to know what that means, Ray? All the info there is good. Yeah. I mean, it can't hurt to know more stuff, but and such a good thing in case you do need it. Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing to have knowledge. We did our infant CPR class. We're gonna do this one. Secret Husband's gonna do this one with me tonight, And oh my gosh, you guys want to hear the cutest little thing? Wait, okay. So we were talking about Secret Baby before we went to bed last night, which is pretty normal for us. We always kind of like muse different things about her. Last night it was like, we were talking about different features about her because we've seen the 3D thing of her now. And so we were like, oh, well, she obviously has this of you, like whatever, we're going through all those things. So he fell asleep. This morning, right before I got up for book club, he turned over in bed and he goes, but don't let her spend it all in one place. And I was like, okay. I was like, is he dreaming about her allowance or like birthday money? What do you think's going on here? That was the whole conversation. Don't let her spend it all in one place. I was like, I won't. I'm gonna go read a book now. I'll try not to let her spend it all in one place. But it's funny because he's already like got dad brain, you know. It's very funny. It's very funny. So I was like, well, I'll try not to. Currently, she doesn't even know how to hold things. So yeah, it's her Disney shopping money. Yeah, right. Exactly. We are very lucky. He's a very, Gracie, honey, don't spend your money right now. Yeah. The good news for her is that she doesn't even know what money is yet. So we're in really good shape. So anyway, I'll see you all later, and I can't wait to tell him about that when he wakes up, because I'm sure he will find it very entertaining that he was concerned about his daughter's spending habits before she even makes it Earthside. I was like, slow your roll, bro. She doesn't even know what money is yet. Although, you know, daughters, man, they are expensive, so he might not be wrong. Yes, yeah. I totally understand, Roxy. I will be on later if I can, but the name of the game today, yes, Ellie does know. Ellie is expensive for all of us. The name of the game today is to finish up some of the advent calendar stuff, because the advent calendars are going to start to mail out on the 15th, which is cool. Shira is finishing up a lot of the charms for advent calendar today. I think I told you all this, but it's not a spoiler, it's just a little thing. A lot of the more slimes are gonna have special charms from Shira this year than they did last year, and all of the returning slimes that were the most popular ones from last year are getting an upgrade, because those are all getting charms from Shira this year. So even if it's like the same slime, there's only 3 that are the same, but even if it's the same slime that was in last year's calendar, again, because everybody wanted it back. I wasn't pushing them on anyone. I was gonna make all different ones, but people wanted them back, so fine. But we upgraded them by putting special charms in them this time. So that is fun. She's finishing those up today. I hope that you got my email so I can get them more. Yes, I did, Nikki. Not a problem at all. No, you're more than welcome to ask. I have a list of all the people who are complete trades. Gigi is included in that. Ray is included in that. So there's a list of full trade people, and then there's a list of people who ordered 12 but only want the more difficult 12, and that includes like Cindy, you, and I think 3 or 4 other people. Sarah's one of them. So yeah, it's good. The stuff from Liv that's going in the advent calendar is out for delivery right now. So that package didn't get lost the way the Cauldrons did. Can we all get a thumbs up for freaking not a lost package? It's kind of weird. The election's over and now my package is not lost. That's so weird. Huh. It's almost as if it was related. Weird. Will you be opening one of your advent calendars? So that's true, Addie. We shouldn't say that. So this is a great question about opening the advent calendar. So a couple of things happened last year. I didn't want to do any spoilers for anyone. So what I actually did was I reposted everyone else opening their advent calendars so that no one would just like accidentally watch one of my videos. That being said, opening their advent calendars so that no one would just like accidentally watch one of my videos. That being said, I might do like a day delayed, you know what I mean, of opening. I'm not sure, or maybe I just do it like at the end of the day with like a, hey, spoiler alert across the page so you know not to watch if you don't want to see, like if you haven't opened yours yet, because I don't want anyone to accidentally watch and see me opening it and then be like, oh, you ruined mine because I haven't opened it with my kid yet or something like that, you know? I know, right, Anya? So we'll all vote on how we want it to go, but I will tell you, we have a lot of people in our community who do daily openings, including Liz does a daily opening, and Who else did daily openings last year? Heather did one last year, and they all have already ordered them this year. So that's good. To Roxy's question saying, I hope I'll be able to get one. I think spoiler alert should work too, Gigi. I agree. I don't blame you, Becca. So to Roxy's question about getting one, I think we will be able to have, oh yeah, Anya did it too. The benefit of being 3 hours ahead is I'm sure you won't post a spoiler. That's true, right? I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think I will have at least 25 advent calendars available outside of the pre-orders. I think the number will be about 25-ish. I never posted videos, but I did make advent calendar, but I make videos for advent calendar. Oh, yeah, say that works. Oh, that's right. You did do it last year, Jen. So, and then of course, don't forget there are advent calendar grab bags for anyone who just like wants 1 or 2 and not 24, you know what I mean? And then you'll have them in different sizes. So that's all the sitch on the advent calendar thing. But again, I'm mailing them early this year because I don't trust the mail. And what I would suggest when you get yours is just put it in a cool place and leave it until December 1st. Because don't forget, the website will not be active until December 1st because Secret Husband is still working on the new art. So don't expect the website to work before December 1st. It just is what it is. I finally made my coffee for the morning. Yes. So that is the case. But as of the morning of December 1st at like midnight, is there Roll for Slime tomorrow night? Yes, there is Roll for Slime tomorrow night. I will post that agenda today, Avery. Tomorrow night is supposed to be after dark. I need to order a fridge. Oh, that seems serious. That seems like a big purchase. My house is usually about 60. That's perfect, Gigi. That's what we keep ours at as well. Our house is usually between 68 and 71-ish, and everything stays fine in here. So that is the whole kit and caboodle. I think that's it. Did you miss this morning, Sasha? I must have missed something this morning. What did I miss? Was it about a refrigerator? Did your refrigerator die? We hate to see it. We do. We hate to see it. Fridge broke. Yeah, that's bad. That's very bad. All right, everything thawed. Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. I love cold houses so I can bundle up and have hot beverages. That's right. That's right. All right, I will see you all later this afternoon, hopefully. But either way, I will be posting the agenda for tomorrow's Roll for Slime regardless. And we have After Dark tomorrow, which is fun and exciting for the whole family. And, well, that's not true. It's not for the whole family. Not for the family. I don't know what else. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.